Hello everyone, I welcome you all to E-Classes by Shalini Ma'am. This forum is a YouTube channel created for the benefit of children so that they score to the best of their capabilities in C.B.S.E. and NCERT exams. Plus, we give trainings for language speaking, better performance in English language speaking, listening, writing, and all the other sections related to English. Here we begin our first chapter from the book Beehive, prescribed by NCERT for C.B.S.E. Class 9, the first chapter, The Fun They Had, written by Isaac Asimov. In case you wish to continue more lessons from us, do join our e-classes, and for more details contact on the WhatsApp number provided. Isaac Asimov, I would like to tell you, was an American writer and professor of biochemistry at Boston University. He was known for his works of science fiction and popular sciences. Some of his famous works are The Last Question and Profession. So here again he has written a story which is a piece of science fiction, and it's a very interesting and an intriguing work to know and read about. Next. Before we begin the chapter, we need to understand that what we are going to face in the chapter. This chapter will have three things that I have taken out as important points that we are going to see as the theme. This chapter talks about advancement in educational technology. Educational, what relates to education? Technology is new technology like we have smartphone, internet, Wi-Fi, or social media, and so on. Next, what we'll notice is necessity of human element in dealing with children. Children are humans, kids. So these children, they, if left in control of technology like robots or machines, they cannot have proper growth, or at least they will not be happy. This is what the chapter tells us about, that advancement in technology makes humans ignore about the needs of children, and humans, the grown-ups, the elders, think that robots will take better care of children than human adults themselves, and this is where children feel that no, they need the care of humans, not machines. I'll quickly tell you in brief one or two things about what is going to happen in the story. This story tells us about times of future. Very futuristic ideas are shown, but these futuristic ideas do not seem very far for today's generation. The story tells us about times in future when children are going to read books on screens. We are almost halfway that time, and we also read books on screens in the form of e-books, but when this chapter was written at that time it was not possible. What has been an extension to what we call educational technology is that the author tells us that apart from e-books, they call telebooks in the chapter, apart from the telebooks, the children are taught by non-human teachers. I'll speak that in simple language. बच्चों को पढ़ाने के लिए non-human teachers रखे हुए हैं, वो हैं mechanical teachers. They are teacher robots. तो अगर बच्चों को रोबोट पढ़ाएगा तो what they feel, this is what we are told about in the chapter. And title is The Fun They Had. We will discuss at the end that how this is a very justified and appropriate title. Now, if you get any long answer question or any question which demands you to think on your own and create some points, they are going to be based on any one of these things. Either educational technology, I have given it short form T, either human element, I have given it short form H, or title, I have given it short form T. So whenever you read this chapter or whenever you want to recall what all was there in this chapter, remember these three letters THT, and you are going to be you will be able to retain all that we have done about in this chapter. I'll quickly now proceed. We are reading the first paragraph. Margie even wrote about it that night in her diary. On the page headed 17 May 2157, she wrote, "Today Tommy found a real book." It was a very old book. Margie's grandfather once said that when he was a little boy, his grandfather his grandfather told him something. This we'll read. I'll quickly tell you two things that we have come to know. First of all, date is highlighted. Time is 2157. This is quite ahead of what the time is when the story was actually written, possibly 20 years before from now. So still right now, though, we can still think of something of the things given in the book, but at that time it was quite beyond imagination. That is what Isaac Asimov imagines for future education. We note the opening lines. Date is given in future, and also by using Maggie's habit of diary writing, the author prepares us that something is going to happen in this futuristic time, and we have to be prepared to understand that it is not going to be matchable with what we have in our present. Then the title in her diary is Real Book. Real book means actually the way books were. And then the author tells us the real book was an old book. Now it was found by Tommy. Tommy is possibly Maggie's friend, and he finds it in his attic, and he's reading it and showing it off to Maggie. Next. Grandfather told him that there was a time when all stories were printed on paper. They turned the pages, which were yellow and crinkly, and it was awfully funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to on a screen, And then when they turned back to the page before, it had the same words on it, and that it had when they read it the first time. I'll quickly tell you, Tommy has found a real book. It is an old book, and Maggie's grandfather's grandfather has been telling to his generations, and Maggie has come to know that there was once upon a time when books were written on something that was called paper. They know what is paper is, but they do not know that it could be used for writing books on. And now they describe, now these children have never seen a real book like we people have seen, so they describe it. Yellow, I have highlighted all the points. Those are the features. Yellow, crinkly, funny to read. Why is it funny to read? Because the book permanently holds the word. The paper permanently holds the word written on it. But these children have seen screen books. So there they just scroll. Whenever they scroll the screen keeps on changing words. So it is not a static thing. But in a real book, the words are static. So here I'll ask you a question. Differentiate between a real book and a screen or a TV book. So first difference you've got that on a screen book, words are not static, whereas on the real book, words are static. Now real books were not seen by these children for last 4 generations. Even Maggie's grandfather hadn't seen. That is why these kids are curious to know more about these real books. We continue paragraph number 2. Gee, said Tommy, what a waste. When you are through with the book, you just throw it away. I guess. Our television screen must have had 1,000,000 books on it, and it's good for plenty more. I wouldn't throw it away. Now here, Tommy is talking about the real books being a wastage. He thinks that books have to be thrown then. One book, one paper thing, and then it cannot be reused. So he finds it very wasteful. And he says that television screens have millions of books, and it can have even more. So it is not wise. This is the advantage of screen or TV book over real book. But then that is how it is. Next. Same with mine. She was 11 and hadn't seen as many telebooks as Tommy had. He was 13. So Tommy was elder. So she knows that Tommy is better read than her. वो ज़्यादा पढ़ा लिखा है. And she said, where did you find it? In my house, he pointed out without looking because he was busy reading. In the attic. What is it about? School. Here I've underlined some points in red ink, and I'll be doing that later on also. Wherever I underline it in red ink, I want you to notice that Tommy is elder to Maggie, one thing. 13-year-old Maggie is 11-year-old, second thing. And Tommy, the way he behaves, he's showing off his knowledge to Maggie. And he is bossy. He is bossy elder you can say friend or somebody. I've written here brother, but then later on I thought he may not be brother because he goes somewhere else to live. So possibly Tommy is just an elder, you can say, friend. But he's finally, definitely he is very bossy. He dominates. वो थोड़ा धौंस जमाता है, थोड़ी अकड़ मारता है. So Margie hated her school. This is a new thing that you will see in paragraph 3 and onwards that Margie was scornful. Scornful मतलब contemptuous, बहुत ही hateful. उसने एक गंदी सी शक्ल बनाई और उसने कहा स्कूल, मतलब स्कूल के बारे में कुछ लिख रहा है किताब में. That is terrible. What's there to write about school? I hate school. Now Margie hated her school. This is what we have to notice. Now we'll come to know that what were the reasons. Margie always hated school, but now she hated it more than ever. The mechanical teacher had been giving her test after test in geography, and she had been doing worse and worse until her mother had shaken her head sorrowfully and sent for the county inspector. यहाँ पे sent for का मतलब होता है called. क्या हुआ? Margie has a teacher. Mechanical teacher means it is a robotic teacher. Now Margie always hated school, but now something was happening to her in the school. What was happening? Mechanical teacher used to teach Margie geography and repeatedly बारी बारी वो geography के टेस्ट उसको दे रहा था और हर एक टेस्ट में Margie's score was becoming worse and worse. बुरे से बुरा होता जा रहा था, लेकिन फिर भी वो नहीं हटता था. Ultimately Margie's mother she was under stress, sorrowful हो गई, बहुत उदास हो गई और इतना उदास हो गई कि उन्होंने एक काउंटी इंस्पेक्टर को बुलाया. ठीक है, उसको कॉल किया. काउंटी इंस्पेक्टर इज kind of a mechanic who repairs machines, but not just a mechanic, he actually sets them as a teacher. उसकी सेटिंग भी करता है वो, तो वो थोड़ा पढ़ा लिखा वाला इंस्पेक्टर लेवल का बंदा है, who knows something about how mechanical teacher should be teaching children. Next. Now children, we have reached the last slide for phase 1. I'm going to take a break here so that we continue the remaining chapter in phase 2. Here are 2 questions for you to ponder to find out the answers about. First one, where did Tommy find the real book? Why did Tommy know everything more than Margie did? And for more updates or more details about our classes, contact us on the given IDs and do join us in phase 2 of the same chapter. Thank you and have a nice day.